we're going to be playing on. Of course, there's two maps that cannot be played here. It's Consulate and Cafe Dostoyevsky. Chaos played Cafe against Navi. Last play day, and Consulate was played by G2. There's Coastline and Border will be taken away. Villa, we go for map 4. It's Bank and leaves us with Clubhouse.
Fun fact for that one, that is a rematch of the last time these two teams played this map.
What happened?
It was against each other. 7-3 for G2. It was not great. But that was literally the last time they played Clubhouse in Pro League, because the only time either of them played it during the second half was that, and neither of them have played Clubhouse this season because it's only been played once. The very first play day, the very first match.
What do you think, though? Watching at home?
All right. Well, I'm not sure I agree with that, but it's good to see the G2 fans, the G2 army, have come back to support their team. Now that they're looking to do a little bit better.
I would not underestimate Chaos, but again,
No.
G2 come into this with an advantage. They've had better score lines regardless. They're at number 2 for a very good reason, but it's still playday number 3. We're just starting playday number 4. So I think by next week, we'll be able to finally judge these teams in a more equal way where, hey, you've kind of had your mix of teams that are playing against teams that are known for being top of the board and ones that are not as much, and you can try things out there. Of course, after this game, we'll have the 2 CL coming teams. Of course, after the start of the season, it's no longer a French derby with Vitality BDS because Vitality is more like a German team nowadays. Yet here we are.
Yep. Maverick the first to go. Not a surprise at all for Clubhouse. It's going to be Chaos's ban. G2 now get to pick an attacker, and they're usually very flexible about what they pick. Capital, something they don't want to deal with, as Wamai is not playable in Pro League yet to capture those crossbow bolts, as he's the only real counter to Capital at the moment. See what the defender ban's going to be, though. And there's the smoke, a very unusual and uncommon ban. But we have seen G2 ban delay operators before.
Exactly.
Just because they want to take their time on the attack.
One thing I want to highlight, by the way, if you did not watch the video that we had promotional for the Battle Pass, 30% of the revenue that's generated through the Battle Pass gets put into the 6 Invitational prize pool. The money is just going to keep on going.
Hey, and if you happen to be a year full season pass holder, you also get 30% off the Battle Pass. So that 30% discounted for you and still goes to them.
So there you go. It's great. Support 6 Esports, Rainbow Six Esports. If you're already going to play the game, why not put in a tiny bit of cash in it?
Yeah, why not get a reward for your playtime?
I mean, right?
Right?
Doesn't that make sense?
I think it generally does, and that's why there's a Battle Pass.
So here we are, and we're going to start off with round number 1 on Clubhouse. Maverick is our band operator on the attack alongside the Capitao 2, very strong operator, leaving the Thatcher in place. Smoke is, of course, the odd one out for the defense. The Echo, usually it's Echo Maestro, but we're going to see Maestro in play usually. However, in this round, won't be the case. Both the Bandit and the Cotton, one to watch the hatches, one to watch the walls.
Almost surprises me a little bit just because we've seen Shadtai play so much Maestro. A very aggressive Maestro as well, but maybe he'll be an aggressive Bandit instead. It was interesting to see the 6th pick to the Legion because we were just talking about G2 not liking delays. That's certainly going to delay you. And the one thing that would spot those good mines ahead of time, IQ, gone. 6 picked off.
Yeah, I mean, without having the Echo to really deal with, the IQ kind of can get replaced here and there, especially in a map like Clubhouse, where it's not like Bank or Villa, where having the IQ to really run the flank watch constantly is a really important thing.
Yeah.
Here you can really control the defenders and put them in restricted areas way more effectively than in other maps.
Well, they're looking for a lot of denial as well. Without the Maverick, they've got Kayed and Bandit. So they've got the Church Wall batteried, and then they've got Hatches electrified, and you can even trick one of them. So this is actually going to make a lot of work for them to deal with because Thatcher's only got 3 EMPs. They're going to have to choose what they open carefully.
So Kanto's going to continue on droning here the Ash, and he should be able to spot the Clyde. There you go. And surviving with that drone, however, taking a bit of damage from Garage. He needs some support from his teammates, but there's the soft wall. This is really something that should prove to be a bit too difficult for Kanto and even really anyone to deal with. He's going to try to stay safe until the information's confirmed, and Cryan will confirm the position of... I'm not sure who is actually playing inside of the catwalk here in Garage, but Renewals regardless has dropped. Not sure if it was him in that position. He's going to run away before that. Fire into the doorway in Garage and get shot by Uno, who has control of stock. slash lounge.
Three-way crossfire, but actually traded back via TCSG onto Uno. Vito with a nice pick. They're really doing a great job delaying and playing a little bit of a roam strat here.
But Vito has no way to escape this position.
No.
You can see the hatch is reinforced, and he might need to take gunfights here.
Fight your way out.
Oh, he gets shot as well from the back. Vito is going to need to reload as Pengu is going to walk on into the main lobby. He's a full HP, and Kanto Raketti is trying to sandwich Vito into position. And once they do that, they should be able to eliminate him easily. There's Fabian, finally taking out Vito.
Well, that's unfortunate for Chaos. If they traded 2 for 2, that would have been fine, especially if that would have been one of the hard breachers or a Thatcher taken down. But the fact that they only got the buck is not going to be as big a problem for G2 as Chaos would have liked, especially once they start going for a take here. But G2 need to pick up the pace a little bit because they're going to have to get in there, start doing some serious work. It's going to be a lot of rushing here at the last second.
So we're going to bring in the Thatcher that should be able to help here. Cryin, does he have any MPs left? Can we check that for a second? Yes, he does. All 3 of them, actually. He's going to be focusing with Pengu right now to deal with those the Electro Claws. There's one of them here. Red Groove is going to get ready for the impact. And there you go. All the X-Kairos are out. You're expecting all 3 X-Kairos to get destroyed with the impact grenades. But no, actually, it burns through. There's the hatch gone. And its second EMP will be used downstairs. Is there anybody in to support Fabian, or at least to fight against him? I'm not sure about that one there, Cryin. He still had 1 EMP, but the wall will be open regardless. Kanto Raketti onto Secretly, turning it into a 3v2. Little time left as Red Groove will find the diffuser. Oh, it's down on the floor. Fabian out, but Red Groove has been down. Go for the pickup. Shate now watching as he turns back into Church and checks the hallway, but everything's been reinforced by Chaos. The 2v1 against their former teammates, and Pengu is watching one of the 2 angles where the team can get pushed by. Shante might opt to push through blue, at least pre-firing through the soft wall there. But the rotation hole is being held here by Kanto Raketti, and Pengu will find the cross angle. Shate is down. G2, round 1.
Definitely a good round for G2, but a struggle. They did do a good job of slowing them down, just playing as much delay upstairs as they could. The problem is they didn't trade enough kills for it. They really put a lot of pressure on. But one big oversight I feel like for Chaos is they didn't have any operators that provided any kind of intel for them. They had a tiny bit of intel denial with the mute, but that was, that was going to deny some droning, and maybe that helped the players stay alive a little bit longer up top. But the big problem for me is they weren't collecting any intel of their own. There was no Valkyrie cameras up. There was no Maestro cameras. There was not even a Mozzie to potentially capture one of their drones and or delay their droning more so than the mute possibly. But they'll rectify that, I suppose, a little bit this time by going to a different site and bringing the Maestro, which is definitely very good for this site. Still, though, a good fight nonetheless from Chaos, despite the fact that it had to be just a lot of pivoting around trying to take gunfights.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that move that Cryin just went in trying to smash into Church with no support behind him, but it ends up working regardless for G2. They had the positive entry, and all they needed to do was just drop that hatch. The fact that they got kitchen hatch open.
And Church as well, like that was the important thing, because they got the hard stuff open.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on the way that they roamed upstairs. Did some work, but losing the cut is just not a great thing at all.
Especially when he can trick a hatch as well. Decent effort at tricking the kitchen hatch, though. It just didn't work the second time.
Well, here we are now in Cash and servers, ZTV. So, Secretly is going to be playing the Maestro. We talked about the operator, how important he is, regardless
especially in this position.
Yeah. So you can put Maestro, you can put Doc. Both operators are great here.
Sounds like they might have lost a thermite breach charge, possibly.
Did they?
I heard the little fizzle.
Yeah.
That to me makes me think they might have lost one on the wall.
Maybe a drone hit a wall that
it could have been. Yeah, it could have been another gadget as well. Fortunately, it sounds like actually it somehow jammed the whole audio.
Are we gonna need to fill in with our own audio for this?
Oh no, yeah, they're just asking for Milos' sound effects yet again. Not that anyone's doing a whole lot. It's over switching cameras. You can still hear just a little bit though. Oh, maybe the Thatcher will do some work here. Nope.
We're gonna need to do it. Here we are.
Vito with a nice kill onto Kanto early though. Some good aggression again. And he doesn't get traded this time. Shate, though, loses almost half his health. All right. Renewals on a roam way downstairs. This is what they've got to watch out for. They've got to have those flank drones in position to catch plays like this here. Because the Jaeger roam, of course, especially from strong Jaeger players, very difficult to deal with. So, a lot of roam still. Cryan trying to decide what to do with that last EMP. As you said last round, he died with it in his pocket, being a little over-aggressive. But to be fair, that aggression, I think, was helpful in getting the rest of the team in.
Exactly. It ended up working out fine, and at least it pushed the focus from Chaos away from
distraction.
Where the coming from. Exactly.
Oh, there's a flank drone for you right there. That's what Fabian needed to see. Now they can make the call. Can go back on his drone at the last second if he needs to, but he might go actually for the kill himself. And he does exactly that. Good on Fabian having that flank drone in position.
Cryan watching for any runouts, since Pengu is also watching for the pretty much post-plant position. This is where you're going to be set. This is the rappel. Maestro, in the meantime, is getting as much information as possible. There's Uno to dive on in. Oh, he's up close. He can take out the Maestro here. Secret is already taken down one.
Pew. Pew, 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 pew. Little P's going out. And there's a grenade. Hopefully we'll catch that. Oh, the Evil Eye better have been taken out. Limited utility here, and 3-on-3 with Fabian. About as much health as Shate. Pengu tries to go and got one flashbang left. Should try and bounce it around the corner if he knows, but nope, he doesn't know where they're at. Loses it to the ADS. C4 comes out. He gets 2 for Shate. It's all on Pengu now. Oh, the kill on the Shate. The trade, not worth it though. Losing 2 in the process. No utility to work with. Just his gun. He's got the Bearing 9 as well. Pulls it out. Does him no good as he's riddled with bullets through the softball bite renewals. That roaming Jaeger who managed to make his way back up, saving the day in the end. Well,
of course, that does mean that we have to go for a rehost.
Yeah.
You get to catch everything in the setup early on in the round. You can
we can still hear. Hopefully, you guys can hear that as well. We're being mute jammed even.
So, yeah, that's unfortunate, but we're gonna go away.
We're gonna go away. Really?
Well,
Vacation?
from the game because we can.
Yeah, we're
see
gonna rehost it to fix that. You can hear the rehosting started, so it's fixed now. Luckily, it's only 2 rounds of data to put in, so it should be relatively quick. And I know at least G2 usually quick to get in the lobby and get back to playing because they want to get it done. So
I just hope
Chaos the same.
I just hope that Marcio in the meantime doesn't click on the SI playlist so he can go and play that.
I'm sure he's tempted. Yeah.
I would have thought. And not sure, we might be heading into game very quickly, but
we might just be. It looks like we're already reset up again. I mean, it's not a lot to reset up, I suppose. Already the playlists are already obviously set up, so it's just inputting in the 2 round data. So as long as everything's good, fingers crossed. We're getting back in here in just a moment. Looks like we're getting underway in church. There we go.
Yeah, we still.
Unfortunately, still have the mute jamming audio.
No?
Nope,
yeah, just a bit.
Just in the background, but we still hear other stuff a little more clearly this time.
So we don't need to voice over things?
Yeah, exactly. You can hear it still. Just mute making his presence ever known.
So, you can blame us if we get that mute as an operator in this game, but here we are. There's your one long hole and set up to watch.
Yeah.
For any drops through the hatch. Unfortunately, that didn't really work out last time we were on this site, but here's yet another jammer.
I was going to try here those mute jammers stacked up vertically to try and jam the hatch, or drones potentially. Something they're going to have to deal with. Of course, they're still bringing Cryan on that Thatcher, though. Pretty much the same lineup as last time, but they did bring the one thing that I said they probably should have brought was a little more intel, and they did so in the Maestro. Now, of course, I meant a little bit more so to help the roam, but nonetheless, that will pay off.
Renewal is a good
Anto.
play. That's the Jaeger versus the Ash. Where did he even get? Was it just
blue stairs? I think
blue stairs. So yeah, it is blue stairs. So I think Kanto was trying to peek through that tiny little slip that you can use, and that was kind of a position that you expect at this level. Renewals.
Honestly, he was hoping to catch someone off guard and just didn't. Sometimes you get teams that are late to set up finish their setups. So.
Especially when it comes to blue. There's another Electro Claw that was thrown in, forcing the second EMP. This makes things even more difficult here for G2. It drains time, but most important thing is that it drains utility. One more set of Exkyros is being used, and this should be able to open up the hatch. There you go. Mute Jammer is a bit too slow there, and only barely scrapes the edge of that drone. So in a 4v5, it's very possible here for G2, especially the amount of time that's left, to just use all your utility here. Grenade's going to bounce on in, unfortunately.
So close.
Yeah, they already fell back. Shate took a lot of damage, but Renewals found another one. There's Fabian down.
Shate has such low health, but it's still 5 men up. But they wish they had a dock right about now, but nonetheless, even if Shate dies, they'll still have a man advantage of 1. against the 3 of G2. Kanto's early aggression really setting them up potentially for failure here if that doesn't work out. They do have things open now. They have the hatches that they need. They don't have a hard breacher in terms of thermite to open up Church Wall, though. And then now another death onto Uno. It's 2v5, looking good for Chaos.
Definitely not sure about that, but Pengu's going to be watching, and he'll conserve his ammo for just a second more as Renewal is ready to pounce. There's Redgroove taken out as Pengu instantly shot down to the SMG-11 of secretly crying his last alive. He'll find one kill on a Vito, but he's so low on HP at 25 right now. And Renewal is going to turn at any moment here from Blue. Find the last kill. There's so many holes, so many positions to watch for, and this is why you reinforce in the center.
Exactly. That's a perfect demonstration of why, because playing behind Generator, he's safe right there. And they can watch that Maestro Evil Eye as well if they want. You didn't see anyone on it at the moment, but there's only 2 dead members to watch it.
Right about now. There you go. He's dead. Every time you say right about now, it just reminds me of that Fatboy Slim.
Funk Soul Brother? Yeah. Right about.
Pick it up right. That was a great song.
If only we could have just like, random songs playing while the game's going on, just hype songs.
Honestly, who was it? Was it Bacon that posted about it? Because I posted about it like a year ago, but Bacon reignited the conversation yesterday and saying, how about we have team intro songs?
Yeah, like wrestling does. Like everyone just has their own theme song.
I just want SSG to enter with Lycan as the Undertaker on a massive Harley Davidson chopper. Music playing in the background.
Someday, maybe.
Going down that ramp at SI.
I think the player who channels that sort of thing the most is Canadian. He comes out, he's screaming, he's throwing his fists in the air.
Yeah, but I mean...
No, I mean in terms of like the wrestling vibe, not necessarily Undertaker.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got the vibe down though of that, just pumping it out there. He's got some energy. Doesn't always work for him, but now that he's on a team, it seems to be working even better, potentially. You never know. We'll see.
Fabian's, for all the Swedes out there, Fabian will probably have Rosa Helicopter playing over him as he's walking inside.
I'm gonna play kicks for a second. I don't know what you're talking about, Parker.
At least I can use some sort of, how do you say, references that.
Yeah, at least I have seen some media content at some point in my life.
Have you watched something called TV?
I think I saw a show about that.
An online streaming service.
Obviously, we're rehosting for the mute sound issue still. Hopefully, we'll be cleared up. Obviously, we're going for a bit deeper of a reset to make sure that we get that cleared. Just one extra round of data to put in. We'll just get that stuck in real quick. Make sure. Yeah.
I mean, Chaos is doing really well on defense. This is not surprising at all because it's Clubhouse. It works very well for defense. 4-2 at the half for defense is like normal.
Also, you have to keep in mind that the ban that was used by G2 on Smoke isn't always pivotal here to Clubhouse. Whereas, let's say they'd done the Maestro, for example, they might have got a little bit more value just off the way they're playing so far.
I think.
But you never know.
I don't know. Like, maybe the Smoke is more meant for something that hampers the defense on cache servers and on the bedroom side.
Look, if you're going to ban Smoke, you got to play Finka. Where is it? Where's the Finka play? Just boost Kanto in next time. You know, be a little bit faster.
Look,
control that recoil.
We're not TTS after 6 Invitational 2018, where it actually gave an extra 1 speed to all operators. If I remember correctly, there was a 4-speed Ash running around the map like a speed demon.
Yeah.
Some people might get the reference.
You back that up with bullets too, and it's just like.
I watched those videos.
Yeah. We still have seen a little bit of Finka in Pro League, but it's been so minimal.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? Reciprocity that brought some Ying play on Café Dostoevsky.
Fox certainly tried.
And Chaos also brought a lot of Ying pretty much consistently on Bank when they were attacking through there. So against Force, it was a really interesting game for all you Ying players out there that are always asking, like, how do I play this? How do I set up the operator on my team? I highly recommend that you watch Reciprocity's and Chaos's game from a play day ago.
Or if you want to see how to play Warden, you can also watch that Reciprocity game for the same reason.
So, yeah, and why he should be fixed, so you don't have to keep,
Yeah, it should be a little bit more like some of the other charging ones, but I imagine there was a reason they did that, probably the seeing through smoke thing. Fortunately, still hearing this mute jammer.
Got it.
Did we get a mute buff that we forgot about? So, we'll try one more time.
I heard the producer screaming in my head.
Yeah. Ah! Why isn't it fixed yet?
But yes, so we're going to get all of that set back again, and then we should be coming back into the game. What other games do you recommend? Actually, every day there's a new thread about who do you think will win this, who do you think will win that, and then out of all of them, there'll be someone asking, what's the best game in the season so far? What is yours?
Oh, man. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're looking for. Because sometimes I just want to see, like, Empire slaughter another team.
Yeah.
And just, like, really enjoy that.
So let's say, I am someone that wants to learn how to drone and play around drones to give information for my teammates. Which game do I watch?
I mean, that for me is Empire, because their attacks are like a masterclass in having good information and executing. As you said, Joystick said, drone first, then shoot. Then kill. Yeah, it works. You don't always see that what they're doing droning wise, because we're always watching different operators. But some of that's like he said, Shepard droning like sometimes the first 2 minutes.
Yeah. You would seem like finally as they're like setting up to breach into a wall where he gets off of his drones, like, all right guys, so where were we again? Which map are we on?
I mean, that's the thing is, that's the value of something like when they were playing Lion, for example. You'd have Lion who's on the roof of Coastline doing some droning. Oh, hey guys, you need me to hit 4? All right, I'll hit 4 real quick. All right, now back on my drone. There's some great coordination you can get, but you all need to be on the same page communication-wise for that to work.
So what else? Wacky inflatable, hands kind of setups.
That reciprocity match, just the attacks. I think we're pretty wacky. For me, the Capitao Ying attempts. We haven't seen a lot of Amaru fun yet, unfortunately.
No. Has Amaru been played in Pro League?
I don't recall it ever being played yet. Okay. And that's unfortunate. I think there's some good opportunities that we're missing out on.
Many yeets still to be expected.
It's going to happen sooner or later.
By the way, so you're talking about this. We're going to 6 Invitational, and a lot of the teams that we're watching in PL are qualified. So I know it's a bit of a meme to say, like, hey, somebody might be saving strats, and I acknowledge that. However, it is a thing where you're not going to actually use everything in your back pocket. And I just want to highlight for a second. A lot of people, when they hear strategy, they think of something that is a symphony and of beautiful things.
That's never going to work. You're going to lose some guy randomly.
So a strategy can be something as basic as using your basic strategy to defend a site and then adding a couple reinforcements in a different way, or a couple holes in a different way, or an operator positioned in a way that's different than the basic strategy. That is a strat on its own. It doesn't need to be something that reinvents the wheel.
No, but you do see a lot of teams making adaptations when they retry sites, for example. Small things, like you said, a reinforcement here or there. You have like kind of your foundational, these need to be reinforced, and there's usually a couple flex reinforcements you can adjust.
And those strategies might not always work. Of course, sometimes they work because they kind of surprise your opponents and they might not have the right tools to deal with them. Yeah. So you don't know. Maybe this strategy used in another game against another opponent just would not work at all, because the way they drone you early on in the round means that they're able to adapt and play from another side.
And of course, a lot of times they test these out in scrims against a different team.
Yeah, that they wouldn't be playing for the next few play days.
Yeah, obviously they're not going to scrim against the team that they're just about to play. But in terms of like the idea of saving strategies, I think a lot of times the way to try and do that best is to try and not play those maps during this. That way you don't have to like use your off or potentially weaker or strategies. You don't have to get desperate and pull out those strategies because you're not playing that map. So it's more often the maps you see played the least by a team during the season, they're more likely to bring out the LAN events.
Yeah, and again, you might say, oh, there's a big advantage for seeding. We're going to talk about this later for our draw later, after our final game between Force and Empire. But we just want to go ahead and lay down the law for the first time. What?
For the first time.
For the first time, because we're going to say it again later. Your top seed gets an advantage, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically, you get an easier game and an easier way to qualify. However, we have, regardless of who gets invited, 16 of the best teams in the world that have proven themselves over the past 6 months.
Yep.
So I think you won't really get as big of an advantage as you would imagine.
Yeah, you're last year, I'm against a slightly less awesome opponent.
Yeah, last year it was A, B, and D groups were very close, very close.
It's going to get to the point where you're going to say every group's a group of death.
Yeah, and then again, Group C that had like G2, Liquid, Market, and I don't remember. MIBR? No, that wasn't Group B with Rogue. I don't remember what the last team was. Regardless, Mantis. back then. Now C9.
Mantis, that's right.
Those were the 4 teams in it, and then you might have said, yeah, G2 Liquid had an easy run through it, but that is really the only group back then that was a thing. Right now, regardless of who gets invited, look at the teams that are already qualified. It's not going to be a fun time for anyone to think, yeah, this is
Well, it's going to be a fun time for the audience.
Oh, yes, that's the
It's
whole
just not
point.
going to be necessarily a fun time for the teams that are struggling.
Literally the whole point. Right now, we're struggling to get the players in.
We had this happen the other day after rehost. Just it takes a little bit extra time for everyone, especially those not on SSDs, to load everything back up. Because I think most of them, part of the delay was also, I think, a lot of them rebooting their systems. So in doing so, it takes a little bit longer. We do have a different, to talk about the actual match going on here, we have Jim now, site we have yet to see, as well as Goyo. Everyone knows my favorite at this point.
Yeah.
Last time I recall seeing a Jim defense with Goyo, it was 3 shields in bedroom. There was 1 on the bed, 1 by the bomb, I think 1 by the door. It was nutty. Didn't work. But I like to see it. A lot of positions to play.
In the meantime, production, chat, can you please play some elevator music? I was just going to say it. Can we just run some elevator music?
Thank you, Shate.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Says Fabian right before he gets dropped and or somehow replaced instead of crying.
I mean, maybe it is a dig at crying.
Ooh. I'm sure it's got to be rough.
Toxic.
I imagine of all teams, you do get hazed on this team.
I mean, yeah, look at
Maybe
Kenta Raketti.
Right.
Kenta Raketti went from an angel to the way that he is now.
That's true. Now he's a mean, bitter soul.
Yes, he's a dwarf.
Yeah, he went from a hobbit to a dwarf. He was all happy
Oh,
with Shire.
no.
Now he's just mining all day long, grumbling and drinking.
These old grumblers.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a official fantasy definition of like long beard dwarves? Old grumblers.
I don't know. Don't consult me on fantasy. Not my forte.
Well, it would all make sense if you read the Silmarillion.
Yeah. If only I spent like
It's
my
like-
life becoming a linguist.
They literally invented that, like, they wrote that book just so people, like, 80 years later can say, well, it won't make sense if you read the Silmarillion.
It was a pre-hipster thing.
Yeah, basically.
Well, we'll see the usual castle setup, it seems like, for the most part. They are going to have a mute and a bandit. No Kaid to throw. Ooh, nice catch by
hello.
Uno. You really got to watch for those drones, Renewals. You're going to get spotted out now. Now they're not just going to be wasting their time clearing. They're going to find you. But it's not atypical to have someone playing lounge.
Yeah, but it's atypical to have him dropping at this rate.
Well, speaking of dropping at this rate.
Oh, no. Crying, you knew he was there. Come on, man. There's the kill. And Kenta Raketti will be forced to drop into Oil Pit to shut down the rotation. However, he's a second too late. Chaos, an advantage early in the round.
So far, they're an advantage all around because they've got an extra point as well. And the man advantage. So defensive sided, it seems right now for Chaos. Really benefiting from that. You those mute jammers still, but thankfully only when you're near them. So that's definitely fixed, thankfully. Renewals had taken a little bit of damage, but a Jaeger player on 1 HP can still be extremely lethal. So that's not really much compensation, but they're going to try.
What is this? Whoa, hello. Kenta Raketti is going to find Red Groove. A great angle here for him to use. At least it's Red Groove down. But, you know, that's a castle. It doesn't...
It's fine.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter. Now, will Uno be able to spot the player inside of Billiards? That's the big question for me, because it's not unusual to have a Nitro Cell comes in at the last second to you and Jim, so the whole time you're thinking that you're safe, but you're not.
You're never safe in this game. That's what I love about it.
Recovered their diffuser.
You got a hard wall, it gonna get opened. They have Goyo Shield to try and help once that castle barricade goes down. Deployable shield is not unusual for that position, but now they've got a lot of extra shields to play with.
So the hatch is still closed. Of course, this is something that G2 will have to be active, proactive about. Reminder that this is pretty much this Nordic
Oh,
derby. There's the peek around
so
the corner.
focused on the hatch. Blow
Pop
up
it.
the shield, just blow it up, just do it. There you go.
There's the pre-fire. Fabian, beautiful shot on Navido. That's a great kill now. Plus
Great
Nitro
play.
Cell removed. The shield is down. Fabian can walk in here from the secret vault.
You can even open the wall further if you... Oh, no, you used all his X with him.
Oh no, there's the free
feet.
kill.
Oh, and that is bangable.
2 kills now for Fabian as he'll force the bandit back, but the site is already open. Oh no, Fabian's gonna go down.
One.
2 for Renewals, but Pengu peeks around the corner, coming into the bedroom, and from behind it's Uno. unlucky there.
I guess a lot of
Close.
it, Fabian's flank definitely worked. That was, of course, opened up by Kanto with his kill first to try and soften things up. But they just didn't seem to anticipate a play from Logistics. That was really a big weakness for that defense that got exploited very well. Was unfortunate in the 2-for-1, but the flank as well from Pengu. That's what you want to do is pinch towards the end. A little bit off timing, but we'll go back to Cash now. As Chaos cannot play Church till next round. See, I believe the same
Attackers
operators
need to
for this
locate
defense
and
here.
defuse bombs.
See if they can trick that wall as well.
Get the road to SI Battle Pass to unlock rewards as you play.
Paving the road to fun.
Oh yeah.
Yellow.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped about that. I like getting all the extra free stuff without just having to hope alpha packs are going to give me something. Because I just get duplicate commons most times, so I literally got the same duplicate common 2 alpha packs in a row. What? The mute velvet shell headgear. 2 times in a row. That's the last 2 I got.
Did you record that? Did you shut up?
No, yeah, but I'm just like, what are the literal odds of that? They're got to be astronomical.
Well, you would know. You're the math guy.
Right? No, but I don't know all the contents of the pack, so. Or the odds or the way they're calculated. Either way, though. But I'm glad to see there's also a way to get some guaranteed rewards that you can see just for playing.
And they're cool stuff that are themed to 6
We
Invitations.
sound like such shills right now, but I am genuinely excited for the extra stuff.
Hey, man. We are self-aware.
Like Skynet.
Oh, you are a bot. We already know that.
Speaking of bots, Kanto cannot finish opening the door. He's going to try and take some pre-fires. That was good pre-fire. You see some people roaming just over on the other side. See those orange silhouettes now. Cryan, hopefully not going to get over aggressive, get himself killed early on this round, as he is playing a useful utility role, but Uno actually the one takes some bullets first.
Oh, I think Uno came in from... Well, okay. Well, it doesn't matter now. There's...
Okay.
Right to a takedown. Whoa, Renewals! Why is this man like this? One day, he's not having
He's having a day for sure.
And 2 days ago, this man was just barely present. And here he is today. He is on
making
fire.
up for it.
He's going to find another one.
User bait. So close.
He's spotted. Where's
He's still
Fabian?
alive, though.
They need him to drone. Pengu is still fighting Vito. Renewal's still fighting bottom, top of blue. AR-33 is in play here for Cryan, so definitely has an advantage in terms of rate of fire to use, but secretly he's going to take down Uno in the meantime. He's downed, but in the meantime,
And it took
Buck has
before he's going
fallen
to get picked back up.
secretly, yeah, there you go. He's picked back up, and there's the kill from Pengu. Fires into secretly to shut him down. Doesn't matter. That's really the big problem. The big question. ADSs are going to get shot down as still using those holes as bait. Remind you, the site is upstairs in the server room right now.
Yeah, no.
So.
This is... Chaos have continually been doing what they like to do best, which is play very spread out roams.
They create chaos.
They do, and that's why I like their name, because it aptly describes the way they play their defenses.
There's a drone. Renewal's going to get shot from the side, and there's Cryan for the finisher to turn it into V2, checking around the corner to make sure that it's all clear. But Chate with a great spot. If he can find Cryan here, no. Cryan's going to fall back. Maybe he can take down Pengu? No. Both of them do not, they don't enter through blue or try to push from there. There's still a Maestro camera that's giving out information. You can deal with it with an EMP. I'm not sure if Cryan still has one. There we go. It's the last one. It was thrown up, and it will be all that they need to destroy that evil eye. This is a great position here for Chate. He has a nitro cell as well to use whenever he'd like. There's a half-reinforced wall in front of him. And there's one kill for free. Diffuser's on the floor. Red Groove covering the second angle. And Pengu will go down. Chaos making mincemeat. Mincemeat.
Mincemeat?
Mincemeat. Mincemeat is great.
Extra tenderized.
Of G2. Well, yeah, I mean...
I got to imagine if you're G2 right now, you're just looking forward to your defensive half.
Honestly.
I mean, you can bring this 3-3. You can tie it up and make it good if you can win one more round here. But just the sheer aggression coming from Chaos, really G2 might want to consider some kind of roam denial like a Dokkaebi or Lion. As much as I'm sure G2 loves playing Lion, honestly, at this point, they need to do something to slow down players like Renewals from being able to just run around the map. Flank drones and things like that are great, but if you have all your players alive, no one's watching drones half the time, and then as soon as they're dead, well, then you're at a man disadvantage just to watch those drones. So I don't know, I'm not really feeling G2's operator lineup because it seems literally very hit and miss. Church, now, this is a site that Chaos did lose the first time, but a very convincing second defense on it. So pretty good on this. Yeah, no one planting or counter defusing here, as you can see. A lot of shoot, pew, pew towards the end of these rounds, as it's usually down to very low count of players left, and that ends up being a bit more of a frag fest, it seems.
So, I just hope that Chaos don't actually play Vito inside of the stock room.
Yeah.
Because last time, that, in my opinion, that was the thing that lost them that first round on Church. But here, I wouldn't be surprised if Chaos get a fourth round and make it a 4-2 at the half. It's, again, Clubhouse, so it's not out of the ordinary, but it's definitely something that'll propel them into a better position for that second half. The 3-3 is just not that great, if you ask me. Still, again, as the AR-33, you're expecting, with the angle grip, which is a great combination, you can snap aim very quickly. Cantor Rocchetti will switch over to the G36C instead of the R4C just to have a bit more damage, but okay. I am not sure about this one there, but Pangu is going to get shot down as he just walked into the shotgun of Secretly, and that's a bit of a free kill there. I'm saying a bit more damage, but G36 just having that ACOG, which is great, right? You have longer angle play, and Cantor Rocchetti definitely, at least looks like he's waiting up for that. Two stun grenades to clear out any ADSs, and then there's a breaching charge to destroy the Evil Eye, guarding the engine room here in blue.
Well, is Chaos showing just how to play very flexible on Church and pretty much all the bomb sites to where they just own the map. Getting an early kill yet again, not taking a lick of damage, and burning almost half the round already. This is going to be, again, a struggle here for G2. They still have some utility left to work with, as you can see, one nade as well. They're trying to get everything open, but there's just going to be a little time left when they go to do so because they don't have that extra hard breach to spread that job out of opening things up. They're definitely not going to have anything for the church wall. So Kanto really needs to make sure to find his kills. He's had, some rounds where he's doing well, some rounds where he's not, but the Ash play hasn't been really working out as well as he would like.
So Fabian turns around here as Cryan will get Renewals. That's the one you're looking for. Renewals has been such an active player for Chaos, and him off the board should make things a bit easier. Kanto
there we go.
On the Vito. Caught it down. Fabian, another one on the shot days, is left for two. Secretly in Red Groove. There's Red Groove finding one. Uno. There's, shotgun pulled out. Red Groove already got that kill here. That's Cantor Rocchetti down. And he's just staying behind the boxes in the center of Armory. Secretly rotating in to blue. Oh, he goes for the long shot. Not sure about that one. Cryan will find the kill. Red Groove with the Alda. 17 bullets right now. Well, so he can do a lot of work with the Alda. He needs to go for the reload. Cryan is going to sit that diffuser down. It looks like Fabian will be the one to protect him. Diffuser's been set, and a lot of noise has been made. They're going to confirm the position of Red Groove with the drone that was just shot. Goes in for the reload. He's going to pre-fire around every corner pretty much here. There's one shot and close to finding the kill in the back. There's one down on the floor. 33 rounds left in the magazine. You need to go for the kill. No, so close. He even downed him, but Cryan finds the 3K for the round and wins it out for G2. Greedy there from the Maestro.
Now, you got to keep in mind, of course, for those who are not aware and thinking, why is he just trying to finish the down guy? He's just being greedy, as you're saying. But, of course, they don't know that they've downed a player.
Yeah.
They certainly didn't see the silhouette we saw drop. All they know is someone's behind that box. They don't have point notifications because they're playing Pro League settings, for those who aren't aware. So it is just him trying to fight the guy who has the best angle on him. And we'll see.
I mean, in the end, I think the reason why he swung so deep to keep on firing into that player, not only is because he didn't know that there was someone there, that he was downed, but also because you always expect a player right behind Black Box the entire time. Because Black Box is indestructible, and there is a small slit that you can use on its side to shoot into players that walk in.
Exactly.
So both of those don't really explain the exact reasoning why, but still, it was a mistake, regardless.
Yeah.
And in the end, it cost Chaos the round.
That was a very close round, though.
It was, I mean, lost way before. The Maestro did so much work.
Yeah.
He was just trying to collect a lot more kills. Now, why what was it? The mute in that case turned around, shot a hole with a shotgun, and then went for a gunfight with a shotgun. I'm not sure about that one there.
It was just, you know, him trying to make a last-minute decision, and at least he didn't have to get the kill in blue.
And at least that's what we saw on our end. We don't know if it gets switched or not.
And of course, keep in mind the scoreboards you see are after the last rehost.
Yeah.
So they are a lot lower numbers than actually reflect reality here.
Is it after round 4? We had
I believe so. So I believe there's 4 rounds missing.
Round 3. After round 3, we had a rehost. So I think it's the start of round 4.
Loading new mag.
So here we are. This is Red Groove now. The Habana going upstairs. We have gone to servers again. So you're not well, you would usually be expecting the Maestro to be played here on Garage, but unfortunately that's not the case. That'll be Fabian with the Qaed. Regardless of which, there's a Bandit and the Qaed, yet still within 40 seconds of the round starting. The wall is open, so you can just enter in server whenever you'd like, but you need to thin out the numbers of G2.
Certainly want to try to, because that's something that Chaos were able to do pretty much every round on defense, but now they've got to do that on attack. They are bringing a slightly different lineup as we're seeing the Zofia. It was surprising to see Zofia not really getting brought from G2 because it's such a standard operator pick now.
Oh, so close there. Vito to find 1 kill. I'm not sure. He's crying there. There you go. On the Valkyrie that rotated away.
Took a little damage, so... He did cause a little bit of a delay, though. Not the worst. But you definitely don't want to be taking damage when Cryans kind of had some not-so-great rounds. At least last round, they did make up for it.
Peeking around from construction into cash. As a lot of these walls will get destroyed, allows Chaos a lot more flexibility when entering the buildings. They're going to be a... Yeah, there you go. There's the Qaed, I believe. Not sure if there was a Bandit. We didn't see him. That was sitting back there. No, Uno is already low on HP. That was indeed an Electro Claw. And there's the grenade sailing over the wall into Uno. And Vito will find great entry for G2 that should allow them here to open up the wall, as they should have a couple of those X-Kairos left. Vito, what a shot on the Pengu, finds him through the wall. This is why you usually have a reinforcement there. Not sure about that one.
Yeah.
Vito keep on pre-firing.
Not a scratch on Chaos.
There's one more from secretly on Kanto. 2 players left for G2. There's a shot from Shate, and he gets on the drone immediately. Perfect, flawless round.
It was
from Chaos.
Perfect, flawless. I think it's important to emphasize they didn't take any damage. What team can be like,
secretly got like 1 shot into his body, I guess, there at the end?
Oh, so close to being 100% perfect.
Regardless.
That's so impressive, though, to like, if you could almost get 100%, no damage, no pushback from G2, that actually works. They'll try Church, see if they get a little bit better success. But so far, it's looking like Chaos definitely have a chance of winning this. They're going to be bringing the Goyo for Church, something we didn't see from G2. They only brought it out for Jim. And there's going to be the 6th pick from the Qaed to the Maestro. And a Thatcher sneaking out here from Shate. Always fun to see those 6 picks used. I know not everyone's a fan of those, but I enjoy them, at least from my position on things, is they provide extra little bits to chew on. We'll see where Cryan ends up putting those shields and whether or not they're going to be impactful. There definitely are quite a few spots where you can deal with people, like say that blue door will deal with the drop, preventing people from dropping. Same with the memorial door. Some good uses there. You could even put one on inside dirt. There's plenty of spots to use them. We've seen them used to be able to fight down the hallway as well, just as a shield. I like that they do double duty. It's like smokes are mostly just for area denial. Goyo shields can be for area denial or being used as an actual shield. And I like that flexibility. That's part of the reason I get so excited. But there's one for Dirt Tunnel. And that might be in a position, it looks like, where you cannot walk around it. You must vault it.
Exactly. It's such a tiny space. And Cryan's actually bringing the Vector.
Yeah, that right there, I think, is probably the first time. I haven't gone through to verify because there's been a lot of Goyo. I didn't check.
This is the second time, I believe. I remember there was one time that actually confused kits because it was the first time you see a long barrel on a Vector.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
So here he is. There's the Vector in play. 2-2. A Vector on a 2-2 operator is a pretty good
fire rate on that gun is insane. And for those of you who aren't aware, fire rate is very important at high level play because all you have to do is hit one headshot, and the more bullets you can throw at the head, the higher chance that happens. It's like the headshot lottery where you get more tickets.
Even though currently in pro play, a lot of the top fraggers are what you would call quote-unquote body shotters.
Well, the thing is, too, is a lot of people crouch, and because you now don't know whether people are going to be crouching or not often. Oh! Anto with the answer back. Vito, open up the floor. Kanto says, I'll help you with that.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good point. It at least opens up a bit more of that floorboard.
Right, he did a little bit of Buck's job.
It's like, hey, man, you're Canadian. We like you.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
Can help you out there, bud.
Back to the Great White North for him.
So, utility being used up here, the EMP right next to thermite charge to open up the hatch inside of the bar, and Manol's going to set up his drone here to watch. You see the reinforcement, you see how everything's set up pretty normally. There's the impact grenade. Red Groove actually will eat a ton of damage over that impact. I am not sure about that one there. Yeah. Again, that's another bonus of having the Goyo. You have impact grenades, and this is why they have him in here. They want him to go for the gunfight. Impact grenade will go off, but it's the wrong angle, and there's the hatch open for Chaos.
Yeah, you really gotta pay attention to where you're hitting with that, because there are different ways to place your X-Kairos to deal with different impact spots. We'll see them be able to get some things open here. Cryin did lose about half his health, so him and Red Groove about on even there, but Vitalin being downed, or removed. It's down to the There's that shield I was talking about earlier to fight the hallway. Very useful. There is one lifeline left here, and this is Renewal's job to remove that shield for his team. Thatcher going out to clear any ADSs, but no, he's going to open the wall instead. All right, well, that's a choice.
I guess this is going to be the play here from Chaos to enter into the site from the side, as Shate will find Fabian.
Dangerous, though, because they've got to run at that shield to get to that hole.
Regardless, it's still a great kill there on a major operator in the Maestro, and that's another one, and one more for Renewals. It's now Uno and Kanto Ricchetti, the last two alive, as Renewals is watching. He's getting fired upon from blue. Just keep on firing through the wall. He's watching literally the couple angles that he can be shot by. That secretly will get Kanto Ricchetti, and you know, there's one more by Green Box here in Armory. Yeah. Shate takes down Uno. Chaos. They salvaged the round.
Well, it definitely seems that opening the hole in the wall was the right choice.
It really seemed that G2 felt confident they were doing their work, but then suddenly, from that kitchen hatch angle, kill after kill after kill.
And they had an early advantage with the kill onto Vito as well. We'll see Jim, how they set up their defense. We did see, of course, the castle last time, and you're going to see that pretty much every time. I genuinely don't think it's a good idea to play Jim without it, just because you really don't want to deal with those windows. But Panku says, I don't care what you think, Emzo. I'm going to go with Alibi instead. So, hey, you know what? Show me wrong. Because you're 2 points behind right now, so I hope that's the right choice. Because that is a unusual one. And they're not going to have the extra shields as well from a Goyo. So
attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Fabian going to be on that kite. Very likely to have that potentially on the hot tub wall that Cryan's reinforcing right now. And possibly could go for putting it on another wall. But they have a bandit, so they can decide how they want to use, how to spread out that utility. Might be the bandit to be the one to actually place it on the cache wall there, the one he's reinforcing, so that Fabian can focus on throwing his electric claw towards the hot tub if they want to play that, because then he's not exposing himself, especially without the castle there, to help guard that window and doorway. Uno looking for any drones. No one droning garage just yet. That is a little bit of a tip-off in itself that they may not be pushing garage aggressively. So those little things, you will often see, you know, if a defender has their initial setup done, they will go drone hunting. Because any bit of resources you can start from the attackers is a good idea. We will again see that Zofia that we didn't see from G2. And this is the first Alibi coming out. So Panku's going to have have some good plays, but Panku pretty much generally has good plays. It's just sometimes they don't work out enough for his team to win.
So Chaos looking pretty good here, and the problem for G2 is they're close to the top, and losing a game is definitely not something that they're looking forward to, even a tie. A tie hurts you. A tie really does hurt you, especially since Chaos are on a roll early on in the season. Seems like their boot camps have been doing work.
Yep.
And here they are. They're preparing as a team. They need to make sure they don't double up here. Well, I was going to say Kanto can actually do work against them, but their Shate, he swings around the corner very wide. Why? Because he has the drones to give him the info. They're trying to double up, and there's the Valk. Cryin is down, and it's 2 players away with 1:50 left. Chaos cannot hope for a better position.
Cryan really didn't seem prepared for that. You know, I know he has lots of angles to watch, but at that point he should have backed up to connector, possibly. Fabian, though, at least finally trading one back, and that's on the Thermite. That's a good pick. I like that position of the Claymore.
It catches anybody running on that specific window from construction, but that's about it.
Yep,
Attackers have
that's what it's
located
for.
a bomb.
So,
Sometimes people use that window to rotate because of the other window nearby on the
that's very
server.
true. And you're just not watching, or you're left with little time. You
Yeah.
get detected by the end. Oh, there's the alibi right behind the wall.
Trying to figure out which one's real.
Are we human or are we dancer? Or are we Prisma?
Prisma dancers.
So Shot is going to walk in here into construction with a minute left.
Been located.
Might be able to prone down on the ground and find the player sitting inside of
The attacker's bomb
trading.
diffuser
There you
has
go. Oh no.
Oh, loses it.
The call it is ready, and Fabian, even with one bullet left to die, he's still is able to win out that gunfight and turn it into a 3v3 with Vital Renewals taking a decent chunk of damage. Redger will start to use his X-Kairos, but a perfect timing on a battery there.
And that's what I was talking about. It's just that tricking you can do to stop them from opening that wall.
How much time's left? And here for Renewals, if he dives in, he's going to get, well, his position's going to be known. Nuno will get one more on a Vito. Is Red Dwarf going to dive into Fabian? It's the big question. He's going to actually run in, and Fabian, perfectly done, is going to be able to find the kill. Renewal's left with no info, no utility whatsoever,
left.
and only the gun in his hands. Going to have to clutch this one against the remaining three. And there's the alibi that runs the corner. Pengu with the angle grip on the MX4 shreds through Chaos.
Honestly, the catching the X-Kairos on the wall after Thermite was already dead, that was the huge nail in the coffin for me, because all of a sudden, all of their possible angles of opportunity started to collapse down to what little they had left that had already been cleared. They were not able to pressure down the hallway from the hot tub wall, and that really started to put G2 in a better position to where they could position themselves to counter wherever they were going to be approached from. You saw that Fabian, as you mentioned, watching the hatch ready for that drop. Perfectly placed for it. It was a good round for Fabian as well. Had some good picks. Taking advantage of that TCSG, as I mentioned quite a few times, because it is a great gun. The slug is an appropriate description for what that thing does. It punches. Well, Chaos still at the point advantage, and the alibi did work out for Pengu, so definitely managed to pull it off without Castle. So kudos to G2 in doing the uncommon thing and making it work. I mean, the alibi did definitely trick him for a second. Play behind that. The mattress just stationary. I didn't see it coming. We'll see him go to cash now. See if they can at least tie it up to 5-5, because if not, and Chaos get the next round, that guarantees them the 1 point. And as you said, G2 really want to stay on top of things in this first half so they don't have the problems they had last 2 seasons. So they really need to make sure to get this 3 points, especially when a team like Empire is doing so well, just capitalizing on that top spot. You know, it could end up a fight for second place, like we've seen many times. They're going to have the double Electro Bros with Kaid and Bandit. Oh, it's tricky to make sure you place your Claymore here correctly. We often see even double Claymores in the doorway, just because impact nades and things like that are a thing. A lot of defenders will hit an impact there early on just to make them watch it, and then run out when they least expect it, especially when it's Valkyrie in play, because they have those outside cams. Now they are managing to stun Uno.
Yes.
That forces him off. That's how you time it. You have to hit the stun just when he's going to be going to place his battery down.
And unfortunately, that hit secretly for just a second there, but still he's able to fall back, so there's nobody from G2 that can capitalize on the inadvertent crowd control, I guess, that ends up happening against Chaos themselves. Shate will go upstairs. He's got one more EMP to use, so they can use that into construction. But you can tell there's players right now that are holding on to the bedroom. There's even one downstairs in billiards. The site is actually relatively open, so if Chaos can actually cut off rotations, they can walk into the site relatively clean. There's one shot from Renewal's Cryan completely missing there, but Renewal's finally dropped on the floor. He's not been eliminated yet, but that's up to Shate here as he swings around and takes down Pengu. That's
He
Uno
can
and
pick
Fabian.
himself up.
He can. Oh no, you're looking the wrong way. Fabian with one more as Uno finishes Renewal's off, and the round is pretty much lost. G2 collapsing on Chaos inside of the bedroom. I don't know why Chaos fell into the trap. It was all prepared for you, and yet you went for it.
They wanted the extra HP, but 15
Why?
extra HP wasn't going to make the difference.
I don't know why they even decided to go to that side of the map.
Yeah.
There's 3 players that are there. One in billiards is going to walk up into you from toilet, and there's 2 that are doubling up between construction and bedroom. Just don't even care about that place.
Yep.
You have the server wall open. Focus on it.
Well, they really wanted maximum pressure, and it just didn't work. We'll see if Church goes the way of G2, as they have not been able to defend it successfully so far. Now, the reverse, of course, now is if they get the round, they guarantee themselves the 1 point. But G2 are in this to win this. They want all 3 pretty badly, especially since they're trying to rebuild the G2 army, their fan base, after some disappointments in the past. They really want to build this back up.
Defenders, protect your
So
bombs
they need to
from
make sure to
being
win this
defused by
round.
attackers.
We'll see them actually bring out the first Mozzie, and it's weird to see a match where this is the first Mozzie, all the way on round 11. Just because Mozzie's so common now, so good of an operator.
Yeah, it is. And that Mute Mozzie combination has done so much work on pretty much every single map we've been to, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's enough choke points on most maps. You're going to get a lot of value from those 2. And the nice thing is there's usually enough options as well. You can kind of vary it a little bit, so it doesn't have to be the same ones. And Mozzie tends to make a good roamer because he can set them up for himself to be able to roam. And then you also potentially have a C4 if you want to open up a rotation or just try and deny a heavy push on you.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
So hopefully for Crying's sake he can stay alive a bit longer than he has been to an extent. But Fabian, good to see him picking it up. I feel like he'd struggled a bit during a lot of times when G2 wasn't doing so well. So
But right now he's been doing a decent chunk of work.
he's trying to remind us that he has been the best player in the world at one point.
Oh, he was exactly a year ago.
This is his anniversary present to himself.
I would not be surprised if this is actually a thing. You know, I mean, still, again, I won't actually be against that. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. 2020.
It's a good thing. Think about your own health and your happiness for once. Don't be greedy, though.
Yeah.
Share it with everyone. Here we are, though. Vito is going to open things up. There's only one barricade to deal with. Secretly spawned in by the excavation site. So what is he going to decide to do? He's going to open up a charge.
Yeah,
Yeah, it should be using a charge here.
they have the double hard breacher. They can make it happen.
I don't know if Chaos have actually joined the top floor. It would at least explain why secretly is.
Well, you saw Mozzie was up there. Very likely they cannot drone it completely.
Renault's looking at the hole that was opened in the roof above him. I'm like, "Ah, that's the Maestro," and he's looking down the hatch.
Scary things happening all around them.
Oh,
He had the foot in sight too. An angle advantage went to Fabian.
unfortunate there. And Fabian is hearing what we're saying right now. At least that's what we have in our heads. Doing work. The shot will finally finish him off. That's
You heard
blue
that
now
one.
clear. Utility being used, and blue has been retaken by the defense of G2. I wonder if that's Uno in there. Yeah, it is, but no longer. He's going to get shot down. Shate trying to pressure into dirt, as that might be the next spot that Chaos will try to run into. Let's push one player through there. They're not really caring much about those hatches. You can find another player down by the jukebox. That's exactly where he is. The 4v3, a big advantage for Chaos on this church attack. Oh my. Bullet holes everywhere. This drone that just passed Renault's just to give information on the player in the back, and secretly keeps on firing. Pengu solo on HP. Nitro Cell is going to be ripped and used. But there's the finisher from Renault's on a 4v2. They know that the entirety of Armory is cleared. The drones have confirmed it. Kanto, though, will find one kill. And now on the run-in, Shate will find the refrag onto him, leaving Cryan only alone. It's a Nitro Cell in hand that it can use here on the Mozzie, but he's very limited. Does he go through blue? Yeah, that's probably the answer there. And he's going to get shot around the corner. There you go. Shate with the finisher. Chaos victorious. And they at least guarantee the point at the end of the day.
Not looking good for G2 is, well, Chaos have been able to maintain a lead most of the time. 2 rounds in a row, though, has gone both ways on this side. You had Chaos with 2 attacks in a row, 2 defenses in a row from G2. So if that continues, Chaos gets the second one in a row, and that's big trouble here. G2 thinking our gym defense was pretty good. Gonna try that again. Not sure which operators are gonna. Now, Pengu actually signaling in a way that they might be going to gym by picking the alibi. I'm not sure that was the best choice in the sense that you don't want them to know what site you're going to. But they are going to sneak in a pulse from Uno. So I wonder if we're going to see him all the way down in the basement, perhaps, to rotate up late, maybe through blue stairs, something like that, so that he's able to do some work on a flank because he can see where they're positioned, or could be playing a bit more in sight to kind of call out where they're coming from, as we've seen some good flanks on this site come out, especially from places like logistics, and that you have got to worry about main stairs. There's a lot of possibilities. So, Pengu, though, is going to stick that alibi, and they are, again, going to go castle-less. I don't know if tricking on the alibi is going to work a second time. They're going to be a little more prepared for that. But it is tilting to an extent when you get marked by a Prisma, thinking you're getting a shot on someone. So, I almost want to use Shate to just clear rooms.
Yeah.
One thing you can do to deal with alibi, of course, is the drone. And you can even, if you're really unsure, scan. And if it doesn't ping it, then it's not a real person. So there are some ways to deal with that, as well as, of course, playing IQ.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much of the IQ in this game just because the Echo is banned.
We've seen a lot of Shate, though. You see that 12, and that's after the rehouse.
This is the old world champion. So,
yeah, last time he won was with G2, I believe.
as Penta Sports back at Invitational 2018.
So, looking to try and reclaim some kind of invitational-ish glory. Doubling up on these, just make sure that's a lot of utility dedicated when you also want to get hot tub wall. So hopefully they're going to make the most of cash wall here.
I think a drone would have been more than enough to give you information on any players in there. Yeah. You know, there's only him, so if he's not in this position, then you don't really need to deal with any of them.
No, they did think there was a bandit, to be fair. It was a 6th pick from Uno to the Pulse. But still, yeah, you're right. A drone would have been all this need. There's a drone hole right there.
Maybe would have cleared some nitros that were thrown. I don't know. There's some things that it will do there, but Cryan's gonna try to look around the corner and he's gonna find the headshot. There we go. This Cantor Ricchetti with one Vital. With the refrag though, immediately finishing off the Jaeger. You said the Thatcher is gonna be needed for. I'm just watching him. The Thatcher is gonna be needed to enter into Jacuzzi, but right now he's done the most of the work. Renault's gonna open up the hatch and stun the Pulse, but he's already run away, and he's a fast op there. Pulse gonna try to rotate back up, but Renewals is ready for him secretly. We'll find Fabian. The claw is removed. I'd assume that his Electro Claw is still set on the Jacuzzi tub. Oh, Pulse has the information. Secretly should have heard him there.
Uno, yeah, he's just looking straight at him. Secretly definitely going to be called out on that move. I mean, they have man advantage right now, but at least some intel working out. And then extra intel for G2 as, of course, he shoots through the Prisma, marking him.
Just one Prisma out. Secretly is waiting for the play, and this is the one that he's looking for. Pengu will take a decent chunk of damage, keep on firing, but he's going to get finished off. Chaos are looking for the W in this matchup. He's down. Oh, the flick from Vito takes down Uno with Cryan, the last man alive. He's on his own in the bedroom with 4. And there's the end. Vito takes down Cryan. And Chaos victorious at a 7-5, beating all the odds in this game. Not really surprised given how impressive this team has been.
I know last time I said I don't want to toot my own horn about the BDS thing, but me and Intero were right. Thinking
just
that Chaos
you were right. No one else.
I mean, that almost became a draw, though. It was definitely tense for me, for my imaginary points. Just because me and Intero had thought there was a chance Chaos would win this. And the line of thinking there is Chaos has seemed to be sometimes the kryptonite for G2. Not always, as I mentioned. The last time they played on Clubhouse, it was 7-3 G2's advantage. But I just feel like Chaos somehow really can kind of shake up G2, and you saw that on their defenses especially. You
know, back in the day where G2 were still known as Penta Sports, they would oftentimes say that Sisu was the team that can stop them on most maps, specifically Consulate. Not really Clubhouse, it was a bit of a different map back then. And Shate was part of that squad.
Well, maybe that's why they picked up Shate after that.
Yep, they picked up Shate.
But now they've got to deal with him again.
They were taking all the Finnish players out, and what does Chaos do? They pick up Shate the moment that Sisu get relegated, and now he's in, and he's playing, and he was the X factor in this game for Chaos.
Yeah, it's exactly it, and I think that made Chaos even more kryptonite to G2 by having Shate on there. So, G2, that's a team to watch out for in the future. Of course, they don't have to play them again in Pro League until the second half of the season, so they've got some time to work things out. But that is not great for G2, who are looking to try and hold that second place spot.
Yeah, of course, with this not even getting 1 point at the end of the day, even 1 point would not have been that great for G2 because having all 3 points is really what propels you forward.
This helps Empire, though, who've been playing quite well.
And they have a difficult game at the end of the day. We just went through one of our derbies. The second one is Fours versus Empire, and they both play in the Russian Major League. So
to be fair, though, in that one, Empire kind of stopped Fours. So could we see that again? Oh,
they play different. So because watch Russian Major League, in a lot of the finals, you'll see that both teams kind of play differently in the Major League compared to Pro League, and it compares.
It's like LATAM too. Like when LATAM's playing against LATAM versus when they're international.
Yeah, so that's definitely something to keep in mind as we head deeper and deeper into today. We have our interview ready, so let's have a quick chat with ex-world champion himself, Shate. I assume we should be saying Chenari to you regardless, since you're on a Swedish team here, but what's up, Shate? How are you doing? We can't hear you. Give me a second. Production. We'd love to hear his beautiful voice. Okay, so we're trying to set things up. There you go.
Hey, sorry. I was not ready for this, not too ready to be this fast here, but hey, I'm sorry. Yeah, but yeah, I'm doing good. I'm fine. It feels great to win. Yeah, I feel great overall.
It's a big derby game against G2. A lot of people are looking at this and they're seeing still G2 at the height of their game and their recovery in this season. For you going to this as Chaos, you've practiced a lot. We've seen all of your posts on Instagram or Twitter that you've been boot camping. How do you prepare yourself for a game against G2, especially on a map like Clubhouse?
Well, basically, we have scouted them. Do the pre-work. I have to give a huge shout out to our coach and analyst, Cyrud and Hyperino, for the work they do. It makes our work lots easier, and the rest is in our hands, and we just shoot.
Yeah, and it ended up working very well for you. Now, overall, it seemed like Rome was the name of the game. You were doing a lot of work, and you also had renewals, putting a lot of work on the team when it came to defense. How do you try to destabilize G2 and prevent them from getting too much information on you to burn time off of them?
Well, we know that G2 is super good with drones, and the plan was from the beginning that we have to shoot a lot of their drones in the beginning. Me, I don't roam that much, so I'm not sure what happened on the other side of the map, but I think they did a great job getting the drones and killing everybody. So I just feel like when you get the information work out, then it's like G2 is heavily, how do you say it? They rely on the information, like Valkyrie, Goyo shields, and Maestro cams, drones. So when you get the information out, it makes your thing easier.
And you're talking about how things were just happening on the other side of the map and it were working fine for your team. How is it to build that trust between teammates to know that when they go off and do their thing on their own, you can rely on them doing their job correctly?
I mean, that's this level is you have to perform on the certain level, and I have full confidence in my team. I know the guys well. I know how good they are. I have absolute trust on them, do whatever job it is. They are flexible players, each and every one of them. They can roam, they can turtle, they can do whatever. I trust them completely.
There's the resurgence of Chaos, and at their helm, of course, Shate, the ex-world champion. So, anything you'd like to say at the end of this matchup and your victory, 7-5 against G2 and Club?
Thank you for all of the fans and supporters, and it's nice to be back playing and winning and doing this interview. So thank you, everybody.
It's good
See you on the stream soon. Thank you.
Good to have you back, Shate. Thanks so much,
Thank you.
and good night.
Bye.